Part two, the light went off. That's why I hate using this thing, because like the light goes off, whatever. Hopefully it don't go off again. You know, the light is good because it's nighttime, so I need this light. I'm not in my room. But yeah, so certain things that happen in their family, like his niece had a miscarriage and she can never have children again. That's like the only thing, but everything else was like bad karma. Like I remember my ex was like, every time he didn't want to give me a ride, his car would break down. He's like, why is it every time I refuse a ride, my car be fucking up? I said, because listen, karma is real. I said, yeah, because there's no reason, and I think I spoke about this, there was no reason for him to not drive me places, but he was very selfish with his car. I put gas in his car. I gave him money. I was a good girlfriend, and for some reason he had an issue with driving me to school, and I only had to go to Dobbs Ferry once a week, and it was a problem for him. Thank God I was ambitious and I didn't let that get to me, but I had to use the Metro North. And I remember my homeboy was like, he probably like low-key jealous of you because you about to graduate and stuff, and I'm like, I didn't understand it because he was successful himself. Like, he had a career. He didn't have a degree, but he did all right for himself. So it's like, you should be happy for someone you're dating. Like, I didn't understand that. Like, you know, but he was used to females. He was used to females who needed him. And he said that, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about. Like, look at the words and the actions of men. It's not always witchcraft. Like, with this same girl, she said how he didn't want her to go to school. He would make up excuses as to why he couldn't watch the kids. So the kids ended up living with her mom, right? So she finished school, she got her stuff together, and she eventually left him. And you know, she told him, I'm leaving you. And he told her in so many words, you know, if I can't control you, if I can't have you the way I want to, I don't want you. And that's what that's the sick thing with some men or women. They don't really want to be with you, they just want to control you. They see that you're she was in a vulnerable state. She was a single mom of a 1-year-old, and so he entered her life and gave her another baby and controlled her. But I think a part of her wanted to be controlled for the simple fact that she moved out of state with, and there was like no family around but her 1-year-old, you know. So she didn't talk to her family. And then she said there was a time when he had told her, if they still there, I'm not coming home, something like that. So her sisters came over for her birthday, and it was like a 4-hour drive from like where they're from and where she was, and they was drunk, and they she put them, like, she made them leave even though they was drunk. So I feel like that was kind of her. Like, she was trying to get rid of them. Like, how you gonna blame him? And he was, you know, because he said he wasn't gonna come home. Like, those are your sisters, it's your birthday, whatever. But so that's how her mom found out, because her siblings had told the mom at that point, like, yo, she's scared of this dude, whatever. So then finally the mom came over and he was in the room, and so he went and opened the door. She was like, I know he healed, I could feel him. And that's just, yeah, like, you could tell when somebody's there, you could feel them, you know. It's a spiritual thing. But whether you're spiritual or not, if somebody's in the house, you could literally feel it. When somebody enters your home, you could feel it. When somebody enters a building, you could, I feel a presence here. I don't, you know, it's just, we're humans, right? So she felt his presence, like, I know he's here. Like, you know, why is he was hiding behind the door? She was trying to get in and he wouldn't let her in. And the girl said the door was just red, and it was just, you know, he told her that her mom, he wasn't used to combating somebody like her mom. But the part that I was confused about is, how could she really be all that spiritual and she's like selling drugs. That's what I was confused about. Like, we all sin, but that is like weird to me. Like, she's on drugs, selling drugs, but she was telling her to pray, and they started. Oh, that was another thing. She said how he didn't have a Bible in the house. He didn't have a Bible. He never went to church at all. And I'm like, I can't really say those are signs, because the devil's in the church too. You have people in the church who do witchcraft, right? So that doesn't mean, but for her that was a red flag. He didn't go to church at all. This man didn't have a Bible in the house. When she had the Bible in the house, he was like, he got angry. That's a demon. Like, because why are you mad she got a Bible? And then she started praying every morning. So that was the positive thing. Like, she started praying. She started taking the kids to church. So that was good, and she eventually, like, got away from him. And there was a point when, like, she was paying all the bills. He wasn't, I think there was a time when, he wasn't working or whatever. And she was, it's just so many things about this story that it's a lot of dudes who do that, and they are not doing witchcraft. So it just shows you what goes hand in hand, because it shows that all of us are spiritual beings. So a person, even if a person's not doing witchcraft, if someone doesn't mean good by you, that's of the devil, right? If somebody doesn't want you to go to school, right, they not watching your kids or whatever, that person is no good for you. That's equivalent to witchcraft. Somebody is gossiping, that's equivalent to witchcraft, because you're sowing discord among the brethren. You have so many people that aren't friends with people because of what they heard, or they don't even know the person, but because they heard something, they don't even want to see things for themselves. They're going off of somebody else's word, instead of looking at the person for who they are, so it's equivalent to, because what's the point of witchcraft? To destroy, to steal, kill, and to destroy. His quest was, he was trying to put a wedge in between her and her family. There's a lot of people who do that, and I wanted to say that in this video. Like, if you have a man or a woman who they don't want you to have friends, they don't want you to hang out with you, that is of the devil. A person that don't want you to have friends, a person that don't want you to have an outlet. Why? Because once you don't have a village or other people to talk to, you stuck. And the devil wants you to be stuck. The devil wants you to feel like nobody cares, and that's all demonic. That's not of God. Why would God tell you that you don't need your friends and family? Why would God put you in an isolated position? That's not of God. So I just wanted to stress that in this video. Like, be aware of how people treat you, how people talk to you in friendships. Beware of what people say. Someone that's constantly like, you could feel energy. Like, you have to listen to your heart and discernment. And sometimes, if that person's of the devil or they're not good for you, they'll cut you off. And I mentioned that in a previous video, like, because two cannot walk together unless they agree. So the more you disagree on things, the more you keep clashing, they'll cut you off. And then you'll be confused, but that's God, They'll tell you they had a dream that y'all wasn't friends no more. Or they'll tell you, hey, we can't be friends no more. And it's like, well, why? And then you find out later that they was talking about you, they was, saying all these things, all this trickery, and you're like, wow, I never knew. But yeah, Zena Sessions, that's the name of her channel. She talks about different things. And comment, like, and subscribe about the story about the lady with the Haitian baby daddy. She said he put witchcraft on her. I think it might be possible, but it's her too. Like, I feel like she got something on her, and she even said it. She was like, when she was in school, there was a girl that did not want to sit next to her. I'm like, she sound like me. She was like, the girl never spoke to her. She couldn't understand why the girl didn't like her. And some people are gonna dislike you for one or two reasons. Either you have the spirit of the devil in you, or the spirit of God, and they have the spirit of the devil in them. So for me, I can see things on people, right? It's called spiritual discernment. And I'm just good with people. Like, I know how to read people very well. The streets call it vibes. In the spirit world, we call discernment, right? So I see things. Some people have what I like to call a bubble. So we all either have a dark bubble or a clear bubble. So I could sense darkness on people, right? I could sense low self-esteem. I could sense depression. A lot of people have a spirit of depression. And if you are a positive person like me, being around somebody who got depression, y'all are not gonna succeed in a friendship. Like, eventually it's gonna be draining, right? And that person, eventually they're gonna look a mess, they're gonna smell a mess. Like, depression is deeper than just clinical. It's also spiritual as well. So some people try to talk to that person. I don't know. Talking is not everything, but we live in a spirit world, people. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. This is spirit, right? This is a spiritual war that we're in, right? Be very aware. So this girl, she was like, did not want to share a book with her, didn't want to sit next to her because she had something on her. Like, he had put something on her. But the thing is, like, when it was over, she attracted the same guy that was similar. So that means that it was her. She was the problem, right? So that's why I'm like, that's a very interesting story, because when you listen into it, it's like, but you the one who moved out of state to move away from your family in the first place. So how you gonna say he isolated you from? You isolated yourself from your family when you moved out of state. 1, 2. It was just so many things, like, and I'm like, huh? You know, there's a song called Stranger in My House with Tamia. And those of you, if you really listen to the lyrics, she's talking about herself. She's the culprit. So that's why I'm like, I love songs like that. I love deliverance. It shows that when you watching it, the mother was the problem and the issue. It was the mother. It wasn't nobody else. It wasn't her mom. It wasn't the kids. It was her. Like, she was the problem. The movie Us, right? It wasn't them. It was the other. It was the original family. Like, yeah, it was her. Like, which they showed when she was a little girl, and the mirror image was trying to have her life, but in the end, you see it was her. Like, you know. So yeah, like, it's time for us as women. We have to take accountability for our choices, right? Not saying that these men are perfect, but take some accountability to say, you know what, this is what happened, whatever, and I chose to continue, right? Because sometimes we ignore things, we ignore red flags. For her, she said, oh, you know, he was very sweet, very charming, and everything else. But I'm pretty sure there was, like, little things that she ignored because she wanted to be isolated from her family. You moved out of state with your son, like, and I would really know what was the real timeline between her moving out of state versus when she stopped talking to her family. Like, because she even admitted that he said, like, they got together in a relationship in 2009. He didn't put witchcraft on her until the end of 2010, right? She had already moved out of state. So what was the timeline, like, of her stop talking to her family and, you know, like, yeah. But it's a good channel if y'all are interested in that type of thing. It's called Zena Sessions. And yeah, comment, like, and subscribe if you feel like you've been a victim of witchcraft. Comment, like, and subscribe if you've been a victim of jealousy or anything of that stature. Like I said, a person doesn't have to do witchcraft to cause damage in your life or family's life or whatever, but at the same time, take accountability too. Those are my thoughts.